Let me ask you a question right out of the gate. When you import goods, are you just buying a product, or are you actually managing a whole supply chain? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify sourcing from China. We're tackling one of the absolute biggest debates in international trade. Should you hit the ground running and find suppliers yourself on Alibaba, or should you hire a China sourcing agent? We're going to break down the hard facts, expose a few myths along the way, and give you a crystal clear framework to evaluate exactly which option makes the most sense for your specific needs.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. Number 1, the sourcing dilemma. Number 2, who does the work? Number 3, the true cost myth. Number 4, quality and protection. Number 5, the sourcing agent risk. And finally, number 6, making your decision.
Section 1. The sourcing dilemma. Buying a product versus managing a supply chain.
Section 2, who does the work? The functional differences.
The absolute simplest way to wrap your head around the difference is to look at who is actually responsible for each step. Look, with Alibaba, you, the buyer, are totally driving the process. You hold the steering wheel. You're the one searching for suppliers, sending out the inquiries, comparing all those different quotes, confirming the exact specifications, and deciding how the order gets inspected and shipped. Now, the huge advantage here is total control, right? But the downside, you carry the entire workload. With a sourcing agent, however, you're delegating. You hand over a product brief and your purchasing requirements, and the agent basically takes over. They find the factories, they negotiate in the local language, they follow up on production and coordinate the inspections. If you're a small business owner and you don't have a dedicated purchasing team sitting over in China, delegating this daily coordination can honestly save you from chasing tiny details across multiple suppliers in drastically different time zones. Because, let's be real here, literally nobody wants to be awake at 3 a.m. haggling over cardboard packaging details on WeChat.
Section 3, the true cost myth. Beyond the unit price.
Imagine this scenario for a second. A factory quotes you exactly $8 per unit on Alibaba. You go ask a sourcing agent, and they quote you $8.40. At first glance, Alibaba wins hands down, right? But wait, if the factory quotes $8 and the agent quotes $8.40, is the cheapest quotation actually the lowest true cost to your business? Let's take a closer look at that.
This brings us to the total sourcing cost formula. Yes, of course, you've got the product cost, the service fees, the inspection, and the freight. But look at that very last bullet point. So the crucial point is your internal management time. I'm talking about the hours you or your team spend managing sample shipping, coordinating freight, putting out production fires, and dealing with that midnight back and forth communication. For a complex, multi-supplier project, that internal management time can quickly balloon into a massive operating cost, which actually makes that cheaper $8 Alibaba unit price much, much more expensive in reality. Now, another huge factor we know buyers constantly worry about is the minimum order quantity, or MOQ. There's this super common myth floating around that hiring a sourcing agent will automatically guarantee you a lower MOQ. So let's address that elephant in the room right now. Can an agent magically fix your MOQ? The short answer, no. An agent absolutely cannot just force a factory to accept whatever tiny quantity you might want. MOQ depends on cold, hard facts. The product itself, the raw materials, the tooling required, custom packaging, and the factory's actual production setup. Now sure, an agent might have a great relationship with a specific factory, and maybe they can negotiate a smaller trial order for you, but that is purely a negotiation outcome. It is not some built-in feature you automatically get by using an agent. So instead of asking which option has a lower MOQ, ask yourself, which option gives me a realistic MOQ for my highly specific product?
Section 4. Quality and protection, avoiding the illusion of proximity.
And this brilliantly illustrates where quality control actually begins. Compare these two descriptions. On the left, we have a weak specification, high-quality stainless steel bottle. Think about it. What does high quality even mean? It is completely subjective, and it leaves you totally exposed to getting a bad batch. Now, look on the right, a strong specification. You are specifying the exact stainless steel grade, the precise capacity, production tolerances, the surface finish, the logo method, and the exact packaging type. Look, whether you're relying on Alibaba's trade assurance or working through an agent, your purchase order is your primary shield. Trade assurance is a fantastic tool. It can protect eligible orders against bad quality or shipping delays, but it literally requires concrete documented purchase orders to enforce it. You have to define exactly what acceptable quality means on paper.
Now, you might be thinking, well, if my agent is physically over there in China, my quality is basically guaranteed, right? Actually, scratch that. This is what we call the illusion of proximity. Let's see how this builds our understanding of quality control. Physical presence alone doesn't mean a thing if the agent is just calling up the factory to ask, hey, is everything okay? An agent is truly only as good as its inspection process. Before you hire someone, you need to be asking, how many units are you actually inspecting? What exact defect standard are you using? Am I getting written reports and photographs? And what is the plan if you find defects? Demand specific details. Don't just settle for vague claims about quality control.
Section 5, the sourcing agent risk, replacing one relationship with another. Hiring an agent doesn't magically eliminate risk. You're simply replacing one relationship with another. Because you're now relying on a middleman, entirely new risks pop up. Does this agent receive hidden kickbacks or commissions from the factories they're steering you toward? Are there unclear margins being secretly baked into your product price? Do they actually have terrible factory verification processes or sloppy documentation? These intermediary risks are no joke. In fact, the U.S. Department of Commerce highly recommends conducting deep due diligence on foreign business partners before signing anything, precisely because poor partner selection can create massive financial, legal, and reputational nightmares for your business.
So how do you vet them? You look for a concrete, methodical process. A legitimate agent should be able to walk you through exactly how they select suppliers. It should look a lot like this: clearly defining the product requirement, building a solid supplier shortlist, conducting formal factory verification, running a strict sample comparison, and only then moving to production. If you ask a potential agent how they select suppliers and the response is just a vague, "Oh, don't worry, we've many factory resources," you need to walk away immediately.
Section 6, making your decision, frameworks and hybrid models.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clearly it aligns your specific order complexity with the best sourcing model. Are you a startup testing a standardized product with a fairly small order? Alibaba is likely the simpler, much more efficient starting point for you. But what if you're a brand doing heavy OEM or ODM customization, meaning you're building a totally unique product from scratch with custom packaging? In that case, consider an agent to handle those endless back and forth communication points. What if you're sourcing outdoor furniture, planters, and solar lights from 3 different factories? An agent has a massive advantage in coordinating and consolidating all of that freight. But if you demand direct communication and absolute control over the factory selection, Alibaba retains the advantage there. But here is the ultimate plot twist for you. You don't actually have to choose just one. An incredibly powerful strategy is the hybrid approach. Check this out. You use Alibaba for your initial market research and supplier shortlisting. That gives you total visibility into open marketplace pricing. Then you hire a specialized sourcing agent purely for local factory verification, localized production monitoring, strict inspection, and shipment consolidation. This hybrid model beautifully leverages Alibaba's incredible platform visibility while still giving you the full benefit of an agent's flawless local execution. It's basically the best of both worlds. Ultimately, you have to remember that neither Alibaba nor a sourcing agent is automatically the safer choice. The safer model is simply the one that provides you with adequate control over the unique risks of your specific order. So I'll leave you with this question. Which model gives you control over your risks today? Evaluate your internal time, demand rock-solid specifications, vet your partners rigorously, and choose the structure that truly empowers your supply chain. Take these frameworks, apply them to your very next import, and take full control of your sourcing strategy. Keep learning, keep optimizing, and we will catch you on the next explainer.